Today I'm going to be doing a full takedown on my Ruger model single 6. And before I start that, I'll make sure the gun's unloaded. You can go ahead and start to disassemble it. First thing you want to do is take off the grips. Now, next thing you want to do is we'll go ahead and remove the cylinder. With the cylinder out, I'm going to go ahead and put the base pin back in there so we can still bring the hammer all the way back. You want to be able to bring the hammer all the way back to be able to put tension on the spring back here, because you see the little hole in the spring here. You're going to need to put a pin in there. I usually use a little Allen wrench, because what you're going to end up doing is you're going to end up decocking the gun and removing it here. I'm going to use a little Allen wrench to be able to put in there. You don't want to put it too far in, because you're going to want to pull this guy out, and if you put it too far in there, it's going to be hard to work with it. So slide that in. Go ahead and decock the gun. And decock it, and see we're free here now. And once you've loosened that up, you can take the tension off your trigger spring here. Sometimes you can get it with the nail, but if not, just take that little screwdriver, put it in there, pop it off. And this is the spring here we're going to be replacing to lighten up on the trigger. It's the trigger spring. So tension's all off. Everything's loosened up. Go ahead and remove that. And we're ready to start taking it down. If you want, you can just leave this in here. If you want, you can pull it all the way out. It's easier to get out once it comes apart. So we're going to start with the 2 screws in the back. Make sure when you go to pull these screws out, you don't use a screwdriver that's too wide, because if you do, you'll end up damaging the gun. When removing these springs, just to help me to remember or give me an idea where they went, I just kind of put them in the order they came out in. And go to these 2 guys in the back. And again, since we took the tension off the spring in the back, you don't have to worry about anything flying apart. There is going to be a little spring in there. It's right about here, but it's not putting on enough tension. One thing I almost forgot to remind you guys is when you pull these 2 screws out here, one's going to be longer than the other, so remember which side the longer one's on and which side the short one's on. So there's our long one. There's our short one. That's how they came off. Now you're going to open the gun. Did you see this one kind of pop out? You got to watch that guy. You don't want to lose that. In this one here, there's actually a pin inside there, so if you want, you can bring them both out. Sometimes that pin stays in there. Whoops, there it is. So now there's the 2 of those, and it's the only place they can go. So everything's loose here now. just to get a quick look of the spring we're replacing. Now we're gonna pop this guy. Remember the angle it was at when it went in. Because it only goes in one way. We'll set that one down. Then you've got a little pin here to be able to replace the trigger spring here. We'll pop that out. There's not a lot of tension on it. Well, actually, we'll use this Allen here to get it started coming out. See, it came right out. Pop that one out. Set her down there, and it just slides right out. And grab the new one here. Just slide it back in. And make sure when you put it back in, it's lined up inside. You might have to line one side up at a time. As long as they're lined up, you're okay. It goes right back in. Alright, so we'll put that one aside. Now, to get into the deep cleaning, taking this apart, the back pin here comes out, no problem. The trigger spring here, there's tension on it. So what you have to do is bring this forward, which loosens it up here, which takes the tension off. So now there isn't as much tension, which is where our socket comes in. Take a flat punch to get it started.